My girlfriend, my girlfriend wore a T-shirt that said, "I'm her alibi."
This is so true. So, guys, welcome to the Exiled Goddess, the alchemy of divine strength and power. Tonight, we are going to be discussing two women from the biblical parables of divine power and perseverance. These two ladies have an intense display of ridicule, shame, and divine power that few people really understand or can commute. Okay. So when we're doing this, make sure you guys all mute yourself so I don't have to run through and mute everybody. That'd be really helpful. When you're running through this stage, I want you to understand that you may not directly relate to these women, but you need to look at the parts of their story that relate to you. Okay. So for those of you that don't know Tamar, her name means tomorrow. Okay. She was the daughter of Bathsheba and King David. Okay. So if you all know, Bathsheba is classified in very bad women of the Bible. She's not just the little bad. She the big bad. Okay. So she the boss bitch bad. Okay. And Herodias is also boss bitch bad level. So we're talking about two very bad bitches tonight. Okay. But Bathsheba's daughter was born into this level of privilege that she didn't really know who she was. Her life altered greatly. She had lots of privilege at her fingertips, but she struggled. She struggled to find happiness and she struggled to find purpose in life. So, you know that saying, I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one? She had 99 problems and money wasn't one. Okay. She sat in beautiful throne rooms. She had lovely dresses. People praised her, but she had this problem. She had a perverted stepbrother who thought it was his right to have sex with her, and he raped her. Now, I don't know if any of you understand how women were looked at in biblical times, but you could not be raped. You must have given him permission on some level to come in and have his way with you. Okay? There was something she did, a flip of her hair, a skirt hem that was too short. There was something she did to give this man the impression that she was interested, even if it was just, breathing next to him. But she didn't gain anything from this situation. No one gave her pity. No one gave her pride. They gave her shame that she was wrong, that this was her problem. So let's step out of her and let's step into the divine feminine for a moment. Okay. I want you to look at her struggle as more than a rape. I want you to look at her as a teenager. Okay. Because this rape happened when she was a young girl, not when she was a grown woman, when she was a young girl. Okay. So when you're a young girl from the ages of 12 to 16, you really don't know who you are. You really don't know what you believe. You really don't know what you hold dear. You really don't know those things at that point in time. Okay. So she struggles with this whole reality of herself, wholehearted belief in herself, and yet her sexuality at the same point. And now a member of her trusted family violates her. She goes to Bathsheba. Now you go to your mother, you go to a personal confidant who you know supports you and loves you, and they look at you and go, that's not how it happened. There had to have been more here. Rape happens to a tremendous amount of women. And for many women, rape is an endpoint. It is not a pivot. Sexual abuse is not an endpoint. It is a pivot. And when we adjust to the period rather than the semicolon, we are accepting a fate. So I implore you, whatever traumas you have in your background, don't finish the sentence with I was raped, period. I was raped, semicolon. but I persisted. Tamar is the embodiment of it was hard, but she persisted. She took this pain, she took this experience in her life, she took these struggles, she took the inability to know who she was, and she harnessed it. And she brought it in instead of letting it wash her away. She took those stones of defiance and built a castle around herself and protected herself and brought her into struggle. I love Tamar's story because she teaches us happiness is a choice. It is not something that just happens. You choose to bring joy to your life. And I know some of us struggle with this, but this is bad, and this is bad, and this is bad, and this is bad. It will take you more times to count up the failures than to praise the joys. And I know you're looking at this going, what the fuck and what church did Sissy just come out of? No, we're not in church now, okay? I want you to look at this as a divine feminine. The divine feminine goes past the Bible and to modern times now. We are a golden rope interwound with one another. And what you don't understand is your joy directly impacts the woman next to you's joy. Because if you're a pessimistic naysayer who only focuses on the bad things that happen in their life, you're not going to get good. It's not possible. It is not possible to give out that karmic aura and pull in good. It's not. So do you make a choice for happiness every day? This is the Tamar principle, okay? Do you make choices for happiness? Do you make choices to celebrate gratitude? Do you make choices to see the way instead of the roadblock? You know, everything in life has two options. You can see the halt, the alto, or you can see the go. And a lot of people choose the alto. They choose to stop where they are, sit down in the muck, and make a home there. So they're Shreks. They like their swamp, they like their candles, they like their dirt, and they like their land. That's great. If you want to live in the land of despair, get comfy there. You may get company once in a while. You may be able to drag people in with you because misery loves company. If you find someone who's miserable all the time, they're going to want you there because they don't like to be there by themselves because it's dark and scary. Because if you've ever noticed, the dark is the place you think the worst things. There's a reason they call it your shadow. Your shadow enjoys taking you to places where you're alone. Because when you're alone, you're more impressionable. Tamar sat in a beautiful palace. She had a huge family. She was the daughter of a beautiful queen. She could have chose to sit in her pretty little room, be miserable, and let this violation of her go forever. Not only would he have stolen her maidenhood, but he also would have stolen her life and her joy and her happiness. Her story takes a turn. She takes the bad thing. She does her shadow work. In her story, she goes to God and has the discussion. She goes to her higher being, has the discussion, doesn't get the results we get when we go to our goddess. You know, you must repent, da, 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 da. That's bullshit. Sometimes the sin is someone else's fault, not just yours. Okay? I had a conversation with someone today, and they said there's a difference between childhood trauma and adulthood trauma. And I think this is a very valid point for us to learn. Childhood trauma is caused by other people. Okay? It is a direct impacted trauma that you have no power over. All right? It's a powerless trauma. Adulthood trauma, you are choosing. You are choosing to sit in it. You are choosing to marinate in it. You are choosing to, some of us, for lack of a better word, ferment inside of it and become sour, miserable, and mean. And in turn, we cut ourselves off from opportunities, people, and places where we can grow. So Tamara gives you, no matter what the circumstances, you can move forward. And I know some of you are going, that's not possible. That's not possible. I would like to break a little bit of truth to you. There are women who've been through a lot worse shit than you. Get out of your fucking funk. Get over your fucking pity party. Cry me a bridge and walk yourself the fuck over it. Stop. Stop centering yourself in old pain and old anchors. You cannot swim with an anchor tied to your leg. You cannot rise to your divine feminine power tied to your pain. The Bible tells you so. Get with it. These parables show stories that are fucking relevant. They give lessons that are fucking relevant. They give results that are relevant still today. What did I tell you guys? It's a great book. If you learn how to read it and see it from an open eye and look at it from another point of view, it's a valid story. How many of you know a young girl who was raped and moved on to do great things? A lot of us do. How many of us know a little girl that was molested every day by a father, a brother, an uncle, a neighbor, and has grown to be an amazing woman who changes the world? You are not your trauma. Choose fucking recovery. Choose fucking happiness. If you have to write it every day in a journal, I choose happiness. I forgive myself for what I went through and move forward. Because you are turning your childhood trauma into fucking adult trauma. Congratulations, you have done alchemy. You have just fucked yourself in both phases of your life. Do you all need a moment to tell me to fuck off? I'll open your mics up. You can all tell me to fuck off right now. Because part of understanding the divine feminine is understanding your fucking responsibility and where you are in your life. I love men. I love my husband. I love my sons. I love men of this world. But let me tell you something. I don't love when men need to take from the little we have. I do not love that. I do not love that for us. I do not love when they belittle our accomplishments, when they rule over our bodies, when they tell us who we need to worship. I do not love that. I do not love that for you. I do not love that for me. And I do not love that for my daughters. That's divine speaking. That's me going, okay, here we go. Open mouth, insert goddess. Here we go. I'm done with that. Tamara has such a valuable lesson. Your past can be your strength if you use the alchemy to make it so. Negative experiences will shut your life down if you alchemize them as truths. I am a victim. I am a victim. I am a victim. So guess what? You're going to be a victim again. I have survived being molested by my grandfather. I have survived being raped by 4 boys in a frat party. I have survived being beaten by my ex-husband. You know why? Because I was too stupid to quit. I wasn't giving up. I knew there was better for me. Now I am loved by a man who honors and worships me, calls me his queen, loves me beyond compare. I have sons who have children and honor the woman they have children with. I have daughters who value themselves enough to go, whoa, no, thank you. You're not in my price range. And their price range is their personal value. Your price range has nothing to do with money, ladies. Start knowing your worth. And I don't care if you're a lesbian, make sure your partner treats you like you fucking deserve. I see female couples where one female is so disrespectful of the other. How does that happen? How does that fucking happen? She is a goddess and you are a goddess. How does this happen? That is unyoked trauma. And the worst case is when there are two people who come together through recovery and they're trauma bonded. It's dangerous. Look at the bonds you have with people. Have you both chosen happy at the time you bonded? This is a valuable thing. If you didn't, don't throw it away. Don't toss it out. Find your happy. There was a point you both had happy. Get back to your happy. I don't know what your happy is. And my happy may be way different than your happy. My happy with my husband is sitting on the couch, him laying on in between my legs, head back on my chest, scratching his bald head, watching Ghost Adventure shows and falling asleep. That's my happy. That's where I find my happy. You all are like, can't believe this is Sissy's happy. This is my happy. I love falling asleep when Zach Baggins is going, show yourself, and waking back up when he's going, show yourself, because that means we slept for like 3 hours. Just sitting there on the couch, adjusted. My back hurts, my underwear up, my butt crack. That's my happy. I chose happy with my partner. Please do yourself a favor. Choose happy with your friends. Choose happy with your circle. Choose happy with your job. Choose happy with your spouse. Choose happy with your life. This is going to make us all stronger. And if you are not happy, I'm going to need you to reach out so we can help you find happy. I will get my door explorer the map out. We will look at your path and we're like, where is happy not happening? Let's go find happy. There's got to be a happiness forest that Boots the fucking monkey can find, right? Let's go find Boots the monkey and go find the happiness forest, okay? Because some of us don't accept that they can be happy. They don't. They don't accept they can be happy. Everything's always awful for me. Everything's always horrible for me. Shut the fuck up. You're a crybaby. Shut the fuck up. We're adults now. Let's have adult trauma talk. If you are talking yourself into a corner of unhappiness every fucking day, you are going to live a corner of unhappiness every fucking day. Knowing you can heal yourself and knowing you can do the work will get you past the trauma. You're all like, this is bullshit. It's not bullshit. Own your past, take up space, choose happiness. This is what Tamar teaches you. And guess what? If you own your past, take up space, and choose happiness, you will look forward to tomorrow, which is where her name resides from. Now, this little girl in the Bible that no one valued and no one saw any worth on her. She was just Bathsheba's little brat, little spoiled brat in the palace who was whining about getting raped. That's not her story. It doesn't end there. She's hope. She's joy. She's perseverance. And you can't hope for better if you haven't been in worse. Remember that. So many of you, I see you right on the comments. I'm so lost. I don't know what to do today. I'm having a struggle. All is gone. Okay, Eeyore, we're going to step out of that 100-acre wood hole you live in. Okay. We're going to tack back on your tail. We're going to get you gussied up. I'm Tigger. Nice to meet you. And we're going to bounce the fuck out of here. Okay. Because my daughter calls me Tigger and Winnie the Pooh. She's like, come on, Tigger, let's go. Because I bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce until I get where I need to be. There is no harm, no foul in having your moment. You have this beautiful piece of paper. Do you like the broken mirror? Do you see what's on the mirror? Why, that's a spider web. You have the ability to weave yourself a better life. you hold the ability to weave those choices. That web will look exactly like you want it to look. Did you know that a spider, when they weave their web, is telling a story of their life? Every day I walk down Caroline to the bus, and if you've ever come up my driveway, if you've ever been here, I have all these trees up my driveway. And when the sun hits just right, I see webs linking every tree. And they're maple trees along my driveway. And the other day in this web was a lunar moth caught on the spider's web. And it took all I had not to take this lunar moth out of the web. And I looked over, and the mother spider had put all her babies around the moth. They were all around that moth. And I wanted so bad to take that moth off that web. And I'm like, it's not my place to interfere. That's her web. And Caroline's like, we got to save the moth, mommy. And I'm like, it's the moth's time to be part of the cycle. And the next day we came out, and all the babies were all over the moth. And it's just a concept. What we think is terrible and awful for someone else is their growth point. Don't take it from them. Do not belittle someone else's pain with your story. It's a hard thing for us to do when we've experienced something that is relevant to what they're going through. I am fucking guilty of this myself. We need to be still and allow them to have their moments. Allow them to process the way they need to. What we need to say to them is, I'm sorry this is happening to you. How can I help you through this? Your experience isn't going to help them at that point. When they've figured out how they're going to respond, your experience is needed. Let them choose their response to their pain. Let them make their own pivot. You can be like, here, I'll hold your beer while you pivot. Tell me which way we're going. We need to learn more of, I will support you. You need to be an emotional spotter, not an emotional plotter. When your friends are choosing happiness for themselves, you need to be a spotter, just like at the gym. Okay, are you good? I got it if you can't finish lifting. I got it if you can't finish lifting, but please try to lift yourself. Okay? Let them choose their happiness. You can support them through it, but let them choose it. Okay? So on here, I want you to write about the experience. For some of you, you're going to need more than one of these pieces of paper. Go to the print function, find the paper, and print more than one of this one. Okay? And I did do a test print. This still does look good in black and white. I'm just going to tell you. Still looks good in black and white. So write it out. Write how you're going to turn this pain to strength. But I also want you to identify, is this a childhood trauma you're holding? Or is this an adult trauma? Because it is time you solve your childhood traumas. Grown ass women don't hold on to childhood trauma. It's time. I told you the burr months were coming, motherfuckers. You didn't believe me. You know what we do in the burr months. We do shadow work and slap bitches around here. That's what we're doing. You all know the drill. It's time to get your fucking childhood shit out. Oh, if you're an MVP, we're going to go see next. So good luck hiding it from her. That's going to fucking hurt. Which, by the way, you all will get a code probably tomorrow to use for October for your free month of MVP for being an Exiled. So we'll get that out to you guys. Sorry, saw a squirrel. ADHD. Shit happens. So I want you to write those childhood traumas. I want you to write if it's a childhood trauma or an adult trauma. And I know some of you slip back into recycling a childhood trauma for impact in your life. Stop that shit. That's stank Gucci energy. Once you solve something, you've got to let it go. That's another thing the Bible tells you so. When you get it out, you let it go. Okay. There's no grace here unless we have a girl in the group named Grace, but there's no grace in this group. You got to earn your healing. Okay. I'm not Jesus. I'm not here to save you. I'm a little more like Old Testament God. I will like burn your fucking village down and punish you if you don't do the shit you need to do. But you guys have to grasp this concept because childhood trauma to adult trauma is a big fucking deal right now. There are so many adults running around that are wounded little children, and it's not helping any of us. The tantrums, the bullshit, the entitlement, that's childhood trauma. Children have been conditioned to think they're entitled to everything. That's because us as parents in 35 to the 45 age frame, we wanted to give our kids better. We didn't want them to work so hard. We wanted them to feel loved because our parents were like, shut the fuck up. I got to go to work. You know I love you because I'm putting food on the table and taking care of you. Now we're telling our kids every 5 minutes, you're doing great. I love you. You're such a wonderful child. We're creating the monsters that are going to be taking care of us when we're elderly. Big thing to swallow. Think about that. Do you want these kids taking care of you? I don't want my kids taking care of me. No way. Put me in the nursing home. No way. No way. I'm going to be eating boxed meals from some online supplier and have my bedclothes washed once every 6 months. No, thank you. Put me in the nursing home. I'll take my odds. Okay. So any questions on tomorrow while we're here? You're all like, holy shit. Didn't think it was going to be this much tonight. Sorry. Is this a lot for a Thursday? Okay. Let's move into Herodias. I fucking love Herodias. And I'm going to tell you, back in my Jesus days, back in my ladies' Bible study days, I taught her in this Bible study for the Church of the Nazarene. I did the Bad Girls of the Bible story, like ladies' women's book club, and I taught Herodias. I remember specifically getting in trouble teaching Herodias because I said, I think it's awesome she asked for John the Baptist's head. And they did not like that. I will tell you, the pastor's wife, she did not like that. She said it was very sinful that I felt that way. So let me tell you this, okay? So Herodias was basically the small town pass around in the Herod family, okay? She married this guy, then this guy, then this guy, then this guy. And then she finally married the uncle of a brother, okay? So it's long story short, a lot of fucking men with the name Herod, okay? So she comes to be the wife of this final man. And John the Baptist comes in town. Those of you who have never read your Bible, John the Baptist is the man who baptized Jesus, okay? So this is a New Testament story, okay? So we walk in and lavish room, everything's amazing. John the Baptist is there as a revered guest. He's brought in. And he's pointing out, you should, the board and the eye bullshit, you know, the whole parable about you pluck the board from your own eye before it's splinter, blah, blah, you know, all that fucking lesson. I'll tell you all that shit. But he insults her. And he says it's blasphemy. It's sinful that this man married his brother's wife. Okay. So she's sitting there, tits out, okay, because tits out were a big deal, okay? She says some chains over her titties and beautiful gown. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding? This fool comes into my palace, shit talks me in front of my whole entourage, and stands there amidst us like it's okay. She looks at her king and she says, I want his head. He's disrespected me and I want his head. Bitch, if that ain't boundaries, I don't know what is. I don't know what your idea of boundaries is, but as someone came into my husband and says, I can't believe you married that whore. And I looked at Eric, I said, you fucking throw him out right now and he's never welcome here. My husband would be like, you need to leave. You are not welcome here. You need to leave. Her king knew her worth, knew her authority, respected her authority. Now think, you're in biblical times. This was not a woman's place. She did not demand that level of respect. Not to mention, she was the small town pass around in this family. Okay. So everybody knew she was a whore, but nobody said she was a whore. Okay. You didn't say she was a whore because, she demanded your head cut off. But he did it without fucking thinking. And she had no qualms about it. She didn't care who he was. She didn't care what he did. She wanted his fucking head. Then Salome comes along a little bit later and we all learn about what she does with John the Baptist's head. Okay. But the reality of the story is Herodias, talk about a divine woman holding the same authority as her husband. Yo, fucker, don't talk shit about me or you will disappear. This wasn't an action to her. This wasn't a physical act of violence to her. This was nothing but a disrespectful comment that she did not tolerate. Do you got boundaries like that, bitch? Because I know I don't. People talk shit on me all the time, and I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. Just let them in the circle. It's exactly who the Queen of Hearts was fucking rendered after. Exactly. She is the role model for the Queen of Hearts. Now, let me tell you a little story. Ariada, Satan's daughter, the biblical Ariada is supposedly Herodias in hell. Similarity, very much so. That's why I don't like Ariada, because she's a very intense fucking goddess and she's very scary and I don't like to deal with her. She's helpful when you need to learn boundaries. Very helpful. But just keep in mind, if she comes to you, you better be ready to negotiate a contract, because she's very much like her father. Very much like her father. She wants details on what you're willing to do and how long you're willing to work together. You can negotiate a contract with a goddess. Remember that, okay? So when you look at this boundary and you look at her, the authority she held her boundaries with, what is the first word that comes to mind about her? First word. Bitch. Does bitch come to mind? Because she's a bitch. That is a bitch. But let's take it to another level. Confident, strong, authoritative. Dare we say witch? She took nothing less than what she wanted. She didn't want excuses. She didn't want an apology. She wanted his head. How dare you come into my space and talk shit on me and my husband and my kingdom, and you are Mr. Love and Light of Jesus. You're the new Christians. You follow Christ, and this is the judgment you're placing on someone. Did you ever think of it from that point of view? I heard a pastor say it to me that one time. Because, the really sad part is this never should have happened between her and John the Baptist, because he was a disciple of Christ. And that was unbecoming of a Christ-like disciple. And I was like, wow, this man is no longer a pastor, by the way. He's no longer a pastor. He was excommunicated from the Nazarene church, and he does prison ministry for a Norse pagan group, which I think is really interesting that was the path he took. I ran across him recently. But he said that to me when he was a Nazarene pastor. And it was very refreshing, because how many times are you disrespected by people who are supposed to respect you? It's part of their outlying belief system. It's part of what they speak to other people. And they come back and disrespect you. And you're like, I don't understand this. I thought we were above this and we were on a different level, but you're really not. So, what can a Herodias teach you? Shooting your mouth off is harmful to keeping your head on your shoulders. I mean, that's the number one question. um, you better watch your mouth. You don't have to like me, but you have to respect me. Maybe that's the lesson. But how about speaking your truth should not be done in fear. Speaking your worth should not be done in fear. So many of you go, you will respect me, instead of you will respect me. You will watch your mouth and your tone when you're discussing something with me. I have said it to my children. I don't care what you say it respectfully. You can have your opinion, but I want it respectfully. So how many of you, exactly, Misha, how many of you do not demand respect? Hands up. Come on. Come on. I know they're there. You sit day in, day out in my groups. You sit day in, day out in a circle that a group of women work very hard to bring you. How many times do you see people disrespected? Guess what? Be a Herodias. Step up and be the fucking voice. Hey, yo, don't talk to her that. You know what? This is my favorite saying. My husband gets mouthy when he drinks, okay? He gets mouthy, okay? My quiet, docile husband gets mouthy. And I said to a guy this weekend at the concert, hey, yo, you're talking to my guy all wrong. Just back up. Just back up. You're talking to my guy all wrong. Because if you keep talking to my guy all wrong, I'm going to have one less tooth in your mouth, okay? Some of you do not know how to speak to defend yourself or defend others. You get emotionally hijacked. You're unstable when you see something and it angers you, and you flight instead of fight. I saw a really interesting TikTok the other day, and it said, how do you know if you wake every day with a fight or flight instinct? You're anxious constantly. You're constantly looking for the next thing to do. You're unable to finish your to-do list. You feel like your day is never done. And when something is conflictual to you, you run. Anything that arises that causes a conflict in you, you run. You shut the browser, you close the group, you remove yourself from the situation, you hit leave group, and you leave. Instead of having the conversation, you run. It is becoming an epidemic in the mental health community. People would rather flight than stay and speak their mind. The people that are staying to speak their mind, even if they're not right, are winning because people are too frail to stand their balance. There's nothing wrong with staying silent till you have the composure to speak. But don't run. You can mull it over in that melon of yours. You know, how many times have we said, man, I just wish I would have said. Well, guess what? You can. You can say something. Doesn't have to be at that minute. You can come back and you can be like, listen, we were having this conversation and you said this, and I'm not okay with what you said. And those conversations don't always have to be public, but they have to be had. Conversations of truth and authenticity are needed. If there's anything Herodias was, it was blunt. Maybe she didn't mull it over in her melon. Maybe she didn't say it with tact, but she was like, listen up, motherfucker. You're not going to call me a whore, and it ain't going to happen today. Not in my house, not on this day, not ever. Some of you are allowing people to call you things that are not you and tolerate it. That is not okay. And if you're a sister watching this happen to another sister, fucking shame on you. Shame on you. You know what's right. You know what's wrong. Don't fucking sit back and let it happen. And not just our circle. I'm talking in your everyday circles. You go places and you see people who are totally out of line and you let it go. You know, hey, you're talking to my girl all wrong. Why are you talking to her like that? You don't know where she's been. You don't know what she's experienced. Give her a minute to formulate her thoughts and her process and let her respond. Shut up. Calm down. If anything, I hope Herodias teaches you sometimes you just got to let it go. Sometimes you just got to let the words come out your mouth. Whether they're right, whether they're wrong, or whatever they are, let the emotionally charged response stand. I don't know what you guys know about the divine feminine, but she is anything but tactful. She is not polite. She is not demure. She is not calm. She is not nice. She is truthful. She is authentic. And she is poignant. And she is not liked by everyone. So it's like I said to someone the other day. She said, you know, some people don't like you. I said, well, I must be doing my fucking job. If you are uncomfortable by something you hear, I want to discuss it with you. I don't want to fight with you. I don't want to have an altercation with you. I want to hear your side. I want to hear how you're feeling. Because when you talk to me, I'm going to say, this is what I'm hearing. And you're going to say it. And then I'm going to say it back to you. And you're going to go, oh shit, I didn't know that's how I sounded. Because sometimes we don't know how we sound to other people. Because when we react out of emotion, we're reacting out of emotion. But that is divine. When you are aligned and you are honest, that is divine communication. How many of you are having divine communication with each other? You're all like, I don't even know what the fuck that means. You're all like, what the fuck, sissy? Like, what the hell? You're all like, this is another class, isn't it? No, it's this class. You've been conditioned for a long time to respond in a certain way. Because if we're not easy to control, oh my, are they going to have their hands full? Women are just so emotional and they act out. You're goddamn right we are. You're goddamn right we're emotional. We bleed for 7 days and don't die, motherfucker. We're resilient too. Did you ever think about that? You have to think about the years and years and years of social conditioning we have to fight. It's not going to be an easy uphill battle to unite the divine feminine and stand back where we were 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. I don't know about you, but I know there was a time when men would move to the side and kings would curtsy to women because they held places of honor in the village. They were the wise women. Do you think the word wise woman came out of nowhere? No, it didn't. You were sick, you called the wise woman to your home. The king was ill, he called the wise woman. There was a baby coming, he called a woman to deliver that baby, not a man. Because she knew things. She knew the mysteries. When did we stop knowing the mysteries? When did we stop knowing ourselves? Do you ever think about that? This is the kind of shit that I think about. This is the kind of stuff that runs through my head when I'm standing in the shower with cocoa powder and coffee grounds at my feet, listening to Dolsky talk about earth verses, and my fucking head is spinning. Because there's a deepness inside me. There's a deepness inside you. Your ancestors are more than the people that your blood is linked to on this earth right now. You have ancestors from lifetime prints on your bones from times gone by. You need to access that deep power. And you might have not always been a woman. Did you ever think about that? Just because this time around you're a chick, you might have had a dick last time. Your male and female energy balanced within you brings about the divine feminine. Because a woman can only be as strong as her weakness. We can care for our families. We can care for ourselves. We can care for our communities. We can support one another with little to no effort if we work together. Perfect example. Have you ever seen a 300-pound dude crowd surf? I did this weekend. I did. I saw a 300-pound man go to the top of the crowd. Do you know how he did it? 9 people on either side of him. This son of a bitch had everybody lifting him. And I was shocked to see how many women were underneath him lifting him. That's how you make a heavy load light. We all do it together. Do you want to move forward? Do you want to have a Herodias mindset? Do you want to have a tomorrow promise of tomorrow? We have to work together. And you're not going to want to hear this, but you have to leave where you're comfortable. This garden no longer suits you. This garden no longer suits any of us. This comfortable, oh yeah, I'm going to do a spell and look at the moon and write in my grimoire and sing a sonnet and practice Samhain and do some Yule work. That ain't working no more, ladies. They're just calling us woo-woo women, making fun of us, writing bullshit about us. Oh, the witchy women are going to save the world. No, the wild, feral, fucking women are going to save the world. Little girls with big plastic cauldrons, wooden spoons that are watching Hocus Pocus tomorrow are going to save the world. Because their mommies are sitting them in front of the TV going, this is not bad. This is okay. This is a show. We believe in more than this. The witch community isn't up in arms about this movie tomorrow. They don't like how it's portrayed. How many years have we been portrayed as green-faced women with warts on our nose? I don't know about you, but I think Winnie, Mary, and Sarah are pretty hot. I'd rather have been seen as that kind of witch. Because they all crones at this point, ladies. They're all fucking crones. Granted, they got a lot more money for Botox than we do, but hey, nevertheless, they're crones. And you know what? Little girls need to see there's wisdom. Little girls need to see this isn't bad. Little girls need to see there's power in who they are. And who's going to show that to them? We are. So when your family members are reading your children Bible studies, because grandparents do that. When mommy's a witch, grandma gets the Bible out when she gets them, and she's like, listen, I'm going to tell you about Noah's Ark, okay? So this is great. My daughter sat in front of my mother last week when my mom was watching her, and my mom read her Noah's Ark, okay? Because my mom's saving her soul when I'm not around. And she said, Nanny, wasn't it to get the Nephilim off the earth, not to punish the people? And my mom went, how do you know about the Nephilim? She goes, Mommy told me all about them, and they taught the witches all the plant magic. My mom calls me the next day and she goes, so you taught your daughter about the Nephilim, the Watcher Angels, and the flood was to clear the Nephilim. I said, yeah, we watched a History Channel show about finding the giant skulls in the ground. And she asked me how people got that big. And I said, the Bible says it's that a race of angels came down and bred with people and made the Nephilim. She goes, she's 9 years old, sissy. I said, so why are you teaching her a flood wiped out the fucking earth? That's pretty fucking scary. What are you teaching your children? What are you teaching your grandchildren? What are you accepting as truths? There's a lot out there for us to see now. And we need to be aware of these lessons. The Nephilim's a whole different thing. We could talk about that over coffee and cookies because we're going to need them both. That's a long discussion. Okay. But I digress. And if a male angel came down and wanted to mate with me, I would have many, many large, giant children because I have heard things about these angels. Just saying. I would be the first sacrifice. Teach me your magic, oh wise one. Let me get my pants off. So listen, when you are thinking about these women, Tamara is a great inspiration for those of you that have gone through sexual trauma, for those of you that have bore that stain, that child abuse, that childhood trauma. This is your time to take that childhood trauma and listen, it has a biblical stamp. This is a biblical woman. This is a biblical story, and recover. The Bible tells you so, that it's okay to have hope and turn this pain into strength. This isn't a pagan concept, right? This is a biblical concept. This is what they want us to accept. I'm telling you as a witch, if you continue to take your childhood trauma and make it your adulthood trauma, you're not going to be okay. You're not. You're never going to be able to tell the story with release. You're never going to move from it. I guess my lesson for you tonight is, ladies, grow up and put up a fence. It's time. If you are not willing to let something die at the veil, this veil is useless to you. I don't know what you want to let behind, but I've decided this time I'm letting my wounded child behind. Can't take her with me anymore. She's not okay. She's not serving me. She's not doing anything but rotting. She's rotting because I don't have any energy to feed her. I'm not sitting there anymore. And it hurts. It hurts to realize that you're carrying this around and you're hurting yourself in the process. So many of you write me when we go through these workshops and like, Susie, this was a great lesson and I really want to do all this stuff, but I just can't get there. If you couldn't have an orgasm, would you figure out why you couldn't have an orgasm? You're all looking at me like, what does sex have to do with our inner child? So believe me, I'm going somewhere with this, okay? If you couldn't have an orgasm, you would figure out why you couldn't have an orgasm. If your husband couldn't get an erection, you would take him to the doctor and figure out why he couldn't get. I mean, I would. I'd make the appointment, drive the car, and take him there. Okay. This is important to me. All right. There's shit that's important, and that's important. Okay. Why do you keep babying a dead part of your soul? That is not feeding you anymore. That wounded child becomes a demon that you can't get to calm down when you let it live there so long unhindered. Some of you have rage inside of you that you don't know where it comes from. That rage is unprecedented rage. You don't know why you're so mad about something. Something will happen and you will get triggered and you don't know why you're so fucking mad, but you're mad. Not something that's ever happened to you. It's something that's happened to someone else, but you're fucking pissed. That's because you got a demon. And instead of taking that demon out, putting it on a chain and getting rid of it, taking it where it belongs on the other side of the veil, you're feeding it and caging it. And it's eating part of you every day. Even on days you feel good, that demon's consuming you. Put your boundaries up. Turn your sorrow into power and promise and happiness and fucking own yourself. Own what you say and mean it. So when you say something to someone in one of those quick comments and you mean it, don't back up on it. Don't take it back. Don't pull it back. Just be like, listen, I know that's hurtful for you, but that's how I feel. Sometimes the things you say are going to hurt people. I hate to tell you. This is going to sound extremely rude and egotistical, what I'm about to say. It's their fucking problem, not yours. Especially when it's a boundary they've been aware of and they're fucking with. Do you know who gets really mad when you have boundaries? People who don't know how to fucking respect them. People that abuse your boundaries are the ones that will get angry when you remind them of them. Then it will be your fault. And I know the next thing, what if it's a narcissist? Get the fuck away from them. If you think someone's a narcissist, get the fuck away from them. But I love them, but they don't love you. And once again, you're in an uneven relationship with someone that you're not happily bound to, and it's a mistake. Be alone before you're disrespected. I will sit all day long by myself at a fire before I will be with one person that doesn't love me for who I am. Sorry. My whole family had a birthday party the other night. I'm very disrespected by the person they celebrated. I didn't go. I don't care. I'm not going to sit somewhere when I walk away from the table, I'm the subject. Fuck that shit. I don't need it. I have a book to read. Hell, I have gas to pass by myself at a fire. I'd rather fart by a fire than deal with that shit, okay? Sorry. That's reality. Some of you really need to love yourself more. And I know it's easy for me to sit here and say, because 5 years ago, I did not love myself at all. I never would have been making a public scene at a music festival with 170,000 people, rocking my fucking ass off when I'm standing in the middle of a top shelf VIP that no one's dancing. Like, I have pictures where I'm sitting here going like this. What is going on here? Like, what is fucking going on here? These people are not moving. Like, what is fucking going on here? I don't care anymore. I have too much joy in my life to let that shit pull me back anymore. You guys are all working on yourselves. Stop letting people yuck your fucking yum. Be a Herodias. When you see someone yucking your yum, yo, have a great fucking day. I have no fucks to give. Have a great fucking day. There's no reason. If somebody in your life is pissing on you every day, dude, that's not cool. And some of you are like, I just don't know how to get away from it. Well, if I were you, I'd do a little better thinking. Exactly. Get up, walk away. Any questions? You're all like, sissy, fuck you. This is not what I wanted to hear tonight. I'm so sick of this bullshit.
No questions, but great. Brilliant work you've done, Sissy. You really made me cry at the beginning there. You did great.
I didn't do anything, Alicia.
I know, but your words, you just have that skill of writing. It's just, you just invoke.
I want you guys to understand something. Where I'm sitting in my walk, what I do is because I want to do it. I don't do these classes out of obligation. I don't do anything for you guys anymore that I don't feel personally pulled to do myself. This is work. I am not working ahead of you. I am working with you. And that is something that's seriously lacking in the witch world right now. You guys get content from me that is extremely original. This is not shit you're going to find somewhere else. It's just not. Because no one's this crazy. Sorry, no one's this nuts. It is what it is.
I appreciate that. I appreciate all of that.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
And the descent to Nyx that we're all going to go on next month, may the force be with us, because this one's going to be tough. I'm telling you to deal with these childhood traumas right now and write them out. Because I don't know if you know this, but Nyx has all these kids and they're called the Furies. And before she gets you, they will. And you're going to be calling me going, I'm in a pit and everything's bad and it's all falling apart and I don't know what to do. I'm going to be like, breathe and release it one at a time. Because they're going to wrap you in emotions that you're not used to dealing with. This trip through Exiled Goddess is an opportunity for you to slay your church recovery, for those of you that have it. I want these stories to be relevant to you. I want these stories to speak to you because these stories are part of our lineage. They're part of your personal history. You can't just forget the first boy you kissed. You can't just forget your first sexual experience. You can't just forget that stuff. Believe me, it was probably not that memorable, but you just can't forget it, okay? But you know, that guy you went home with from the bar that like threw you up against the wall, and you don't forget him, right? You don't forget that motherfucker, okay? I want your life to be moments of high points. I don't want you to look at your life as all these bad things that happened to you, okay? It's essential that your legacy, your death song, your ode, when it's all over, they sing of what a beautiful goddess you are. That is the goal. She stood tall. She held her place. She spoke her truth. And where she went, she shined the room. Those are the kind of women we are. Maybe it'll be she's a little sassy and people thought she was an asshole. That's cool too. Whatever works for you. Okay. But my bones will be not buried in a mound. They will be spread along the floor of the forest because I do not belong caged. I am a wild woman. I am feral. And the marrow of my bones hold my DNA, hold my song, hold my sonnets, hold my life. You need to start living like you're feasting every day. So next time you look in your refrigerator and you're looking for lunch and you see that piece of cake and you see the salad, grab the piece of cake. Fuck it. Have the cake. Have the fucking peanut butter cup and the Diet Pepsi if that's what gets you through the morning. Stop fucking making apologies for living a half-lived life. Be a Herodias. I'm telling you, that's going to be the next shirt you see me wearing. Be a Herodias, and on the back it's going to say off with their fucking heads, because I totally support this level of boundary for my respect and happiness. I don't know about you guys. Tasha?
So are we going to have like a pre-descent Zoom?
We're going to have quite a few in October. Don't worry. We're going to do a couple
I
things.
was curious because I know that like through, getting clean and using, I've probably forgotten a lot. And one of my main concerns with going down with Nate is that she's also really good at bringing up lost memories.
Yes.
And
She's
it's like
very
one of
good.
her key characteristics. And so I'm kind of like, oh shit, are we going to come out of this worse than we went in?
There's
It's a possibility with her, right?
There's a thought process that she was part of Pandora's box.
Yeah.
So does that give you any idea the kind of power
Yeah.
she holds? So yes, we will talk a little bit more before we descend. And it's going to be a process. It's not going to be a rush. You have plenty of time. We're going to carry it all through October. We're not just going to go to the full moon. We're going to go all the way through. Be chill, baby. Be chill. I got you. Don't worry about it.
I am. I'm excited, but I'm also like, oh God, I hope I don't come out of this remembering shit. I really don't.
Don't get the nervous diarrhea. I promise you we'll be okay. Misha?
Okay, so this has been so interesting to me because I found something today I just wanted to share with the ladies because it has to do with this, the child dealing with childhood traumas and stuff. I'm a big music person, and I found out, if you know the song by Adele, Hello, that everybody thinks is a breakup song. Apparently that song is her talking to her childhood self. And I was like, oh no. So now I don't cry. And now I hear it and cry. And now I'm over here trying not to cry. And and that happened today. I found that out. So it's just amazing that it all just kind of comes together in a pretty little bow.
So if you guys are enjoying these bad girls of the Bible, okay, now these are written from a biblical point of view. I want you to understand it. But I want you to understand I also utilize these books for stories and focal points from the Christian aspect. So these are the books that the workshop is based on. So they start with bad girls of the Bible. Then they go to slightly bad girls of the Bible. And then in true Christian fashion, they have a really creative name, really bad girls of the Bible. So, and they are all written by Liz Curtis Higgs. She's a phenomenal writer. I love her just as much when I was in the Christian faith as I do now, but I just look at the questions a little different now, okay? But the content in these is fantastic. If you have a favorite bad girl of the Bible, these are awesome to access. We're going to do Delilah and Jezebel next. All about temptation and lust. You know, my favorite thing in the whole world is lust. I love lust. Yes, I really am a low level sex demon. I
No, I'm right there with you for
really
sure.
think is what I am. But
yeah.
that's another choice.
I think it's
That's
gotten
another
worse.
story
So
for
as
another
I've
day.
aged, it's getting worse. I don't know about you. I just turned 39, so I'm not in my 40s yet. And I'm kind of like, is it going to get worse from here?
My husband calls me Minty after I told him the story of Hades having the mistress in hell. So he calls me Minty now. He's like, I gotta hide you from the queen before she finds out. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm so good at growing it. So I want you guys to understand Exiled Goddess is about reclaiming your joy from the expected behaviors you have. Okay. So I don't know if you're reading The Holy Wild. If you're not, I highly recommend it. But if you're not, I get it. Okay. I hear from a lot of people, Dolsky's really hard. No, Dolsky's a goddess. Okay. I'm sorry. This woman is a fucking goddess. Like, yeah, I'm just telling you. But I digress. Let me get back on track. Okay. In the Holy Wild, you have this expectation of a garden where you've lived your life, you're comfortable, and you live. Okay. So many of you have never ventured outside the garden because you're afraid what it's going to look like and you're afraid if it's going to be safe. How many of you find that you cuss now more since you met me? How many of you find that you're freer with your thought processes since you've joined the circle? How many of you find you more easily forgive yourself since you're in the circle? This is growth, but pushing the gates open and walking out is another story. My hope for you going from 2022, October 31st to November 1st, 2022, is that you will leave this garden. You will leave the comfort, the safety, and the vision of what you used to be behind. Because after we come up from being with Nyx, we're going to write new self-declarations. What are you? Who are you? Where have you been? And where are you going? 2022 to 2023, starting in the November timeframe. Okay, we're going to do a wheel turn, is what we're going to do. We're going to start on November as our new year. Okay, I know this is a hard concept for all you motherfuckers. But listen up, we're going to do a witch year, okay? We're going to start a virtue a month. And a virtue a month is essential for moving forward. If you can gain one new virtue for yourself, hold it true, and give it a new identity for you, you can leave your garden. And you can find your new garden. How many of you tell yourself, I just want to know what's missing. I just want to know what's missing. I just want more. I want to get to that next stage. I want my magic to be more impactful. I want to feel it. I don't know if any of you can look at what just happened in Florida yesterday and see how impactful this circle was. All the women in our circle are safe. Ashley returned to her home today with electric and water and internet and no damage, no flooding, no nothing. She said to me, Sissy, the doors of my house where it usually floods were dry. Do you understand how much power you all have? This is not a joke. Y'all put your asses into it. We got quite the twerk circle going on here. The problem is you don't believe you're that strong. I'm tired of believing for you all. I'm going to need you to pick up your slack, okay? Because I'm getting old and I'm tired. And I'm soon going to have gray hair like Jeanette if this continues, okay? We got to move this shit along. All right? There ain't enough purple hair dye to keep me from going gray. I need you to have faith in yourself. I may be the vulva of the circle, but you all are the heartbeat of the circle. And that matters. So thank you for spending time with me tonight. Thank you for talking Bible shit with me. I love to talk Bible shit. I love to talk Bible shit with people who believe in the
I'm
Bible.
almost done. I promise. I pinky promise.
Pinky promise. Misha's like, I pinky promise I'm almost done. Such a mom comment. I'm almost done.
My
Ooh.
daughter has been
thank you guys
asking
for
me for
coming.
30 minutes. So
Mine got put to bed by her daddy tonight. I totally understand. And we have a 3:30 date in the morning to get up and watch Hocus Pocus with pancakes. So I promised her we would do it. So you guys have a great night's sleep. I wish you happy Hocus Pocus 2 morning. It's kind of like Christmas, right? It's Hocus Pocus Eve. We're all excited. This has been 20 years, motherfucker. This is a long time. We've been waiting a long time for this movie. So thank you guys for coming. I'll put the replay up on the page. If you have questions or anything like that, shoot them to me at the email and I'll be happy to get back with you. And then the next scheduled Zoom, we'll be doing Delilah and Jezebel. So thank you guys for coming. I hope you all have a wonderful night. You're magic because you fucking say you are. Thanks.
Bye.